Hi, thanks for stopping by and checking out Real-Time CRM. I'm going to spend the next 5 or 10 minutes just giving you an overview of Real-Time CRM. There's an awful lot of nice features within the product. We're not going to get a chance to cover them all, but hopefully this few minutes that we'll spend together will give you an idea of the kind of thing that you can expect when you sign up for the product. The first thing that we're going to dive into is having a look at companies. In terms of hierarchy, there are both companies and contacts. Whether you are a business to consumer or whether you're a business to business, you'll find that Real-Time CRM is able to cater for you. So don't worry if you don't deal with companies, but follow through and everything will make sense in a moment. So here's our companies list. Now, one of the things we're going to start doing is adding a company. And one of the fantastic things that Real-Time CRM does is it allows you to add in company details directly from the URL. So you can see that just by typing in the name Cambridge Software, which is the company that creates Real-Time CRM, you can see it's come up with the details of the company. I can click on that and it's pulled in the address and the phone number, and obviously it's geotagged it as well, so we know exactly where they are. As long as your company's got an indexable URL, then it should be able to pull in the information there. Once added, the Cambridge Software profile page is visible, and down the right hand side you can see the public information, some of which we've already seen, but some of which is quite useful because it links us to their LinkedIn page, Twitter page and Facebook page as well, and we can also link them to any record within Companies House. So really powerful start. We can index our companies that we work with very easily. Now, I mentioned contacts as well. You can add contacts straight in, or you can add contacts as part of a company. So let me just add in a contact to Cambridge Software. Let's add in Peter. So Peter Smith, and his email, peter@cambridgesoftware.com. And we create that, and you can see then that Peter Smith has a record within the context of the Cambridge Software company. If I click on Peter's name there, I'm taken to Peter Smith's profile page. Now that's a page that will have information like the address down the right hand side, and also if I click back to the contacts list, you'll start to see that your individual people that you work with are shown in a list format, the same as if I click on companies, I can see the companies that I work with in a list format. I can work with that list in a number of ways. For example, most importantly, I can tag the records that are in there. So you'll notice these grey blobs here, and some of them are, say, like computer, hardware, whatever, and if I click on one of those, it immediately filters the list. So if I've got hundreds of records or thousands of records, it allows me just to create a subset of them. We call those tags, and to add a tag to a record, very straightforward. I would just simply create it in here. Let's say Cambridge Software do hardware. I can add that in, and then when I go back to the companies list, I can see that that's a company that does hardware along with Dell. Okay, so companies have tags. All of the other entity types, by that I mean the contacts, opportunities and projects, all of those have tags as well. So it's a feature that once you've got used to using, you can use across the board. The other important thing to mention is that you can easily export any of the records, the selected records, or all of your data at any point. So this allows me to pull out all of the companies that I've got in there. It spits it out as a CSV file, which means you can open it in things like Microsoft Excel. And then you can work with that. It's very, very straightforward to use, as you can see. If you're an administrator of Real-Time CRM, then you'll have a settings feature. Let's just dive into that for a moment. There's lots of goodies in here, but I just want to first of all just direct you to the custom fields. Now, custom fields allow you to collect data that isn't otherwise collected within Real-Time CRM. So a lot of people sort of say, well, there's no notes field on the contacts. Well, let's just add one in. We can add a multi-line field to our contacts records. Click Add. Let's go back and have a look at the contact I just added, Peter Smith. And here we are under Custom Fields. I've now got notes, and I can add some information in there. which gets recorded against that record. So that goes for any information you want to store. Really flexible, really easy to use. Took me about 10 seconds to add that in, as you can see. Okay. The other thing that we can spot within the configuration area are something called stages. So if we, forgive me if there we are, opportunity stages. So these stages I've already set up, and you can see that the stages represent the opportunity or sales lead stages that you would go through. We appreciate every company is different, so you can configure your own sales stages. What I'm going to do now using those stages is I'm going to go into the company Cambridge Software, and I'm going to create an opportunity. So that means that Cambridge Software has come to us and said, hey, we might be interested in you doing some work, give us a quote or something. So you would enter the information here. So it might be a bit of consultancy work. Details go in here. The date, we'd expect to close it by the end of the month perhaps, and it's worth about £5,000. You can assign your sales manager, and you can select the contact from the company that you're doing the opportunity with. Let's create that, and you'll see the opportunity page. There's the title, and these are the all-important milestones. So as things progress, we can nudge the milestone along for each opportunity. The pipeline view allows us to give a global view of all the sales leads, all the opportunities we've got open, and that allows us to see how well our company is doing. If I scroll down, an important part of moving forward a sales lead or moving forward an opportunity is to have a task. So what are we going to do next, basically? What's the next move? So I've sent them, they've said to us that they're interested in us quoting. So I want to make sure that I send the quote. Okay. So I'm going to title this task, send quote, description, send quote to them. I'm going to make sure I do that tomorrow, and I'm going to assign it to myself. Let's create that. And within the context of that opportunity, we now have that task shown there. If I have a look at my tasks, there it is. So I know exactly what tasks I've got. If I click into that task, again, I'm back to the task details, including the description, when it's due, and so on and so forth. And I can start to add activity timeline entries. This allows me to record what I've actually done. So let's say I called. I record that when it happened, and you can see there that that gets recorded against the activity timeline for all of my colleagues to see. There's also another feature which allows us to follow up. Let's go into, for example, the Cambridge Software account here. Every record has an activity timeline at the bottom. Let's go in and say, wanted to give them a project update. So let's call project update call. Can I call back next Tuesday? Okay, I don't want to miss that, so I'm going to create a follow-up task based on that for next Tuesday. So two things happen. First of all, I have the activity timeline entry, and also I have a task. So if I now go back into my task list, there we are. I've now got two tasks. One is due next Tuesday, one is due tomorrow. Really straightforward, very easy to do, combination of timeline and activity entries. Now, the question that we get asked is, can we integrate with email? The answer is yes. Details are on the support pages. Basically, we can ensure that copies of emails that are sent out from your system are automatically recorded as an activity timeline within the system. So the last thing to really mention in terms of the flow as a major section is projects. When you've got your opportunity, and here's my opportunity here, if I move that forward, so I'm at the last stage, I can now say that that opportunity has been won. By clicking the Opportunity Won button, I tell it what kind of project it's going to be, and we can define our own projects, project types. I click OK. That opportunity now gets closed as won, and a consultancy project is now born. You'll notice that the project itself has milestones. They're configurable as well. So once we've got the project running, we can use RealtimeCRM as a CRM system. So we can track the project's overall progress, we can set tasks against the project, and we can record activity timelines against the project. Two other things to mention. There's a scheduler. So once a project is running, I'm able to schedule time for myself and my colleagues against it, and that gets recorded in a timesheet. So it gives you very much an end-to-end way of managing your business. Really straightforward. I'm sorry that was so quick, but I've just got a sort of 10-minute target that I try to keep to. But do sign up for the free trial yourself, dig into it, make sure it's got all the bells and whistles that you need, and I'm sure you'll love working with Real-Time CRM. Thanks very much for taking the time to check it out.